I saw Colenso a day or so later and said, look, I need, what do you want me to do? Because if you want us to investigate this, or I help you to investigate it, we investigate the murder investigation. He found evidence, of course, which is history now, he found evidence there that either Kavisi missed, or I suspect he didn't really miss, but he didn't want to disclose it because he's under duress not to do so. Ouko was kneeling down, with his head slightly bent forward when he was shot through the head.
The first person to spot the body of the slain minister was Paul Shikuku, a 17-year-old Hearts boy from a small village in Kericho. Shikuku told police investigators that he was grazing livestock when he saw smoke a few meters from where he was standing. Shikuku says at first he thought it was charcoal burning, but when he moved closer he realized it was a body on fire. Shikuku's statement says the smoke was coming from the stomach area of the body. The 17-year-old boy said he got frightened, turned away and ran. Shikuku says he then met two people after he drove away his livestock from where the minister's body was, a cattle dip attendant and Joshua Ngeny. Shikuku told investigators he informed Ngeny about the discovery, but Ngeny dismissed him, saying a madman who resided in the bush will have been the one who set himself ablaze.
Wakati mwili ilipatikana ya Dr. Robert Ouko, nilikuwa kwa ng'ambo hii kama nitoka sehemu za Moroni, na nilipopika nyumbani saa jioni, saa kitu kama saa 9 hivi, saa 10, nikamkutana na mchungaji yangu.
Case files tracked down Joshua Ngeny, who coincidentally was the son of Shikuku's employer. Ngeny says he did not tell the Hearts boy that the body as seen on fire was that of a madman.
Kwani leo napuka ng'ambo hii mapema, akasema vile nilienda ng'ambo ile nikapata mwili ya mtu kama iko kwa vijakani huko anaungua. Kaeleza yeye kitu gani ilikuwa anachoma, ama mtu anaweza chomeka bure, ama ilikuwa inabeba makaa. Akasema siku karibia huko nilipoona ng'ombe ikizungukia kwa round hapo, nikaanza kukimbia mbele na kuchua kitu gani inaendelea, ng'ombe inanusa nini. Nikapata ni mwili ya mtu. Sasa nikarudisha ng'ombe pande.
But according to the first witness to the murder, Paul Shikuku, Joshua Ngeny was not on the other side of the Nyando River where Paul and his boss lived. Paul met Joshua Ngeny near the scene of the murder.
Kukutana na mimi nilimkuta kama nilikuwa mimi naelekea mtoni kuhoka. Saa hizo ambapo nilikuwa mimi natoka Moroni. Sasa ni saa ya jioni. Nilikuwa mimi naenda mtoni, nikamkuta yeye kama yuko karibu kwa nyanda hapo, kama na chunga ng'ombe kwa ploti yetu ng'ambo hii. Ndipo nikaeleza yeye kwa nini leo mnapuka mapema na kila siku huwa anatoka saa 12. Ndio kaeleza mimi jambo hiyo.
Charles Kivindo, who took over the managerial duties at Ouko's expansive estate, told Case Files Ouko's homestead was a well-organized place. Keys to the gates, stores, and the main house had a centralized location.
There was the lower gate, then there was the upper gate, there was also the tractor gate. Those keys were under my custody.
John Troon told Case Files that from the onset, there were obstacles placed on his way. His team was running into headwinds every time they appeared to make some progress.
Every time I interviewed a witness, Special Branch locked them up without my knowledge and was beating them up to find out what they were telling me. This was a matter of, I've realised this after a week or so, they were doing a parallel inquiry to me, which they shouldn't have been doing because it was not in accordance with my terms of reference. They should have been doing it, and I complained to the Commissioner about this, Andrew Oyugi, and they denied it was happening, but obviously it was happening. And there was certain officers put on my team.
For instance, the London team was startled by what it says was poor preservation of a crime scene. Forensic evidence collected from the scene of the murder days before his team arrived were not properly stored. Some of it was deliberately mixed with soil, and fingerprints lifted from Ouko's firearm were deliberately compromised, making police investigations difficult.
So clear was the participation of the government in the murder of Dr. Ouko. Because, you know, the ammunition that was found on site, they were all police issue. And, you know, the police witnesses who were called, the forensic experts from the police. The bullets that were found where the life was spent, they were police issue. This was confirmed in court.
Troon says his team was pursuing several leads. A trip to London where Ouko reportedly fell out with his counterpart, the Ministry of Energy, Nicholas Biwott, a corruption dossier that Ouko was preparing that had exposed top government officials who were apparently receiving kickbacks from the Italian mafia, and another one on the controversial molasses plant.
Money coming in for people building the molasses plants in Kisumu. The people building them would be people from Europe. They had to pay certain individuals 2%, 5%, 10% or whatever.
Caleb Atemi says Troon's team was largely on the right track, but they had overlooked many other things.
They were thorough, but also a bit naive. Naive in the sense that they assumed that the standards they use in Europe would apply here. When they asked Kenyans that anybody who saw the driver of the white car that was seen driving out of Ouko's home should surrender or come to the police and give information, that was a bit naive. Things don't work like that in Africa.
Hours after Ouko's body was discovered, a team of special branch officers arrived at his Koru home and headed straight to his bedroom. The team carted away several files that one of his bodyguards had seen the minister read through when he was ferrying him home after his trip in the United States. Troon questioned several people, but according to the retired police investigator, the government was extending a helping hand in public, but showing him a clenched fist away from it.
I was threatened. Kobia threatened me on one occasion. Kobia, who was district commissioner, asked to meet me and threatened me when he realised I was getting near to what really went on. He called me over to his little club one night and threatened me. He said I was getting far too close. I should drop it out, he said. I'll drop it out, leave it. You know, he threatened, or else something might happen. That was the threat.
Troon was concerned about the events that the Foreign Affairs Minister might have overlooked, but were the telltale signs of his final days. The minister was involved in a road accident days before he was killed. A lorry driving slowly approached his pickup truck and rammed into it. A visibly shaken Ouko informed the local police about it. A witness told the police the lorry appeared to have deliberately driven into Robert Ouko's space.
And then when we look at the way he had been called, on the basis that there was a message from him from the president via DC, who was then in Kericho, and events that had surrounded his departure here from Nairobi to go to Koro, there was everything to suggest that, you know, he was being set up, and an opportunity was being created for him to be eliminated.
The night Ouko was killed, his home was without electricity, his bodyguards had been withdrawn, and his landline was experiencing technical problems. Ouko was also extremely unsettled when he was speaking to his wife in Nairobi. But Troon's investigations were to be cut short when the government dissolved a commission of inquiry set up to investigate Ouko's murder.
Actually, I'm the one who broke the news to the Kisheru Commission. They were not aware. Because when I went to file my piece, the editor told me that it's a statement from State House. I came and told the commissioners, are you aware that you have been dissolved? He said, no, we're not aware. But the president has no power to dissolve us. That was his line of argument.
The government directed that several people, among them the Energy Minister Nicholas Biwott, Interior Permanent Secretary Ezekiel Yugi, and the then Nakuru DC John Anguka, be arrested and questioned over Ouko's murder. Case files traveled to the United States to speak to this man.
My name is John Anguka.
John Anguka, who was arrested and prosecuted for the murder of Robert Ouko.
It is unfortunate because I believe that nobody has a right to take away life. It is only God who gives life, and it is only God who has a right to take it. And when we have positions of authority over others, it is only right and proper that we should exercise those authorities in a way that is right and proper.
So if there is an eye, go for it. If that eye is removed from the scene, then you are safe. So probably these people who did this heinous act removed all the eyes. And I keep telling my husband, he was not one of those eyes. He couldn't have survived to tell the story.
This, as those arrested alongside him were controversially released, while others died mysteriously. Next week on Case Files, we speak to the lone suspect who was arrested and charged for the murder of the Foreign Affairs Minister. Case Files continues next week.